Hello, and welcome to September's monthly oracle reading. My name is Stephen Masulo, and I'll be offering this reading for the month of September to help maybe shed some insight on some patterning that might be presenting itself for all of us this month. So really, the intention of this reading is to help shed some light on some information that might be helpful as a guide or as a refresher or affirmation or something to draw strength from for this month as we work through whatever it is that we're working through to help clear and heal and help ourselves ascend into love. So this month I'll be using runes, which I will pull one rune and I will read from the accompanying book and then offer my insight as it comes. Okay, so I am letting my left hand, my receptive hand, find the rune for us this month. All right, so that is what the rune looks like, and for me it looks like this, but because the camera is inverting it, it would look like that. For you, only this piece would be a little bit up higher. Okay, so now I'm going to consult from the book of runes to see what it has to say. Okay, so I'm just looking up what page it's on. Alright, so this is the gateway rune. The gateway. So you might be entering or passing through a gateway into something new. So the name of the rune is Thurisaz. It's the gateway or place of non-action or the god Thor. So right off the bat, place of non-action can be the most potent form of action. Being able to sit, being able to hold, being able to allow ourselves to continue to cook and brew is a very potent form of action. So without further ado, I'll read. With a gateway, I'm going to hold this up so you can see it. With a gateway for its symbol, this rune indicates that there is work to be done both inside and outside yourself. Thurisaz represents the frontier between heaven and the mundane. Arriving here is a recognition of your readiness to contact the numinous, the divine, to illuminate your experience so that its meaning shines through its form. So oftentimes throughout our lives, we might have these experiences of connecting into heavenly realms or the divine or the realm of spirit. And then there's oftentimes when we're just living everyday lives in more of our smaller shell, and it can feel mundane. But both are just as potent, both just as necessary. Thurisaz is a rune of non-action. Thus, the gateway is not to be approached and passed through without contemplation. So bringing forth this objective, scientific, compassionate, and tenderness awareness as we pass through. Here you're being confronted with a clear reflection of what is hidden in yourself, what must be exposed and examined before right action can be undertaken. This rune strengthens your ability to wait. Now is not a time to make decisions. Deep transformational forces are at work in this next to last of the cycle of runes. Okay, so this is pointing out that sometimes in our lives, and I know I've experienced this, where it's this idea of like, oh, I need to be doing something, I need to be manufacturing something to grow. And actually what I've learned is that the manufacturing or the trying to effort into something is actually smaller self getting pushed by fear, the fear that I can't sit and that the things that need to be seen or healed won't present themselves naturally. So I need to go out and actively look for them. But simply in the act of trying to manifest them, we put the blinders on our eyes and we cannot see them. So what can happen is if we take a pause, breathe, our higher self speaks to us, through the mind, to give us the answers. And it comes through surrender. So really the proper formula is we surrender into higher self to allow the answers to bubble up inside of us. And then the place of action or will comes on recognizing that those truths are resonating with every cell in our body, our heart. So then it's on us to act, to accept the gift, to take action from there. So first, rest, surrender to acquire information. The information comes perceivingly on its own, and then the will comes from acting on that information. So visualize yourself standing before a gateway on a hilltop. Your entire life lies out behind you and below. Before you step through the gateway, pause and review the past, the learning and the joys, the victories and the sorrows, everything it took to bring you here. Observe it all. Bless it all. Mwah. And then release it all. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. For it is in letting go of the past that you reclaim your power. Step through your gateway now. So, something that I've done before in the past is a form of ceremony with myself where I'll sit back and I'll just ask myself, higher self, to show me myself. All the iterations of myself throughout my life. Because we forget. I forget all the good bits and all the bad bits, right? And it really comes into, the potency is being able to see all of the bits, the good bits and the not so nice bits, the bits that might be trauma, the bits that might feel like a huge injustice to us or to the world. And then resting in the higher knowing that there is divine purpose and cosmic wisdom in literally everything that has unfolded in our life so far and continues to unfold in our life so far. So when we allow ourselves to review like an objective observer, like we're watching somebody else's movie, allowing ourselves to have emotion with that, but allowing that emotion to release, allowing it to be felt fully, held completely, and then moving through the iterative process towards loving it. So it starts off with first tenderness, being able to tolerate, being able to actually look at it, hold the gaze on that bit, that social anxiety bit, or that bit of a trauma, or the bit of that feels really good, and not even trying to hold on to the bit that feels really good, even letting go the pieces that feel really good. Because any holding on to any emotion, be it positive or negative, is a fear-based action of attachment. When we're allowing ourselves to flow, ebb and flow on the surface, animal awareness with cosmic wisdom, emotions ebb and flow, and not only that, it allows them to reach their magnitude, the peak, what they're meant to be, this divine euphoria. And it doesn't come from holding on to them. And when we hold on to them, they split into the positive and negative. And depending on how we're holding them in the times, they might present themselves as very positive at first. But then if something happens and it flips itself on its head, that might be very negative. So my example is, recently I thought I met my soulmate, right? And it turned out not to be the case in this scenario. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But right now, we had to split ways, and it was necessary. But all those moments and memories that felt so good, so loving, that when I was in the relationship and still holding on to them, they brought me great joy. But when the relationship shifted, all those positive memories that felt so good revealed their shadow side, their negative side that had the same magnitude of, oh my God, that did not feel good. But what I allowed myself to do in this kind of ceremony sense, and it can be very ritualistic, it can be very wholesome. Draw from what you get inspired from, a religion or a wisdom tradition that infuses ritual or infuses an inherent quality of divine holding. So I allowed myself to hold these negative emotions, feel them fully, and then when I felt them fully, it was really this tangible sense of feeling the energy slowly dissipate as I was integrating it, and then once it was complete, it was like a little pizzle of just like really pleasant, like little firework sensation, and then it was gone. And then when I would think of that memory again, it was just a memory like the sky is blue. You know, it had no charge to it. And that's the healing process. And that's how we cleanse ourselves so we can continue to evolve into our next evolution. It comes from a releasing of these old memories, that are charged. We can still have the memories. The memories aren't going to go anywhere. But the charge of the memory is the bit that is split, is the bit of fear holding us down, keeping us from our higher self. So what this is pointing to, this rune is saying that the non-action comes from a reviewing process, the healing process of sitting with the pleasantry or the discomfort, feeling all of it, and then even feeling the contrast between the two, and maybe even acknowledging that because it's such a great contrast, it allows me to actually fully see and appreciate love so much. We need contrast to be able to see something. Simplest example, if you hold an all black object up to an all black background, you'll never be able to see that object. But if you invert the background to all white, now there's great contrast between this black object and the white background. So now we can see and know the thing. So that's all that's been happening in our lives. We've been playing out these different things to bring contrast to the divine qualities of emotion, of love. You know, all the fear-based emotions are man's fabrications. They're the great delusion, which are just not necessary. But we need to see them. We need to throw everything out on the table, make a great mess first, so then we can clean up properly. I remember I had a beautiful poetry teacher in college who said that creating a poem is kind of like if you get a piece of driftwood from the ocean, and it has in its essence the core of the wood that has great beauty and quality to it, but it's surrounded by all this dead, rotted wood. So what you can do is kind of carve out, sand out, pick out all the dead wood to be left with the essence of quality and beauty. So same with our lives. We throw everything out on the table, sift it all out, pull apart the pieces that were stuck together so we can find the pieces of divine quality, and then we can place those back and then allow ourselves to move on. And then it really is, once we clear it out, the lingering process to be like, oh, did I really get it all? Is that really it? That's another holding pattern. So it's like once we clear it out, let it go, and then just dance along your way. Next song. Let's get this party going. Get this party rolling. Because when we affirm that we're done clearing it, that's law of attraction backed by quantum of physics, manifesting that it is complete. So we're allowed to affirm to ourselves that, oh, that is complete. And then maybe later down the road, another piece comes up and it's like, oh, okay, so here's another piece. Let me clear that out. Okay, that piece is done now, complete. I've wrapped it up in a nice little package, placed it by my altar of my heart, and now I'm carrying on. Thank you. Mwah. I feel complete for today. And if you do have any questions or if you'd like a personal reading, please feel free to contact me. All my information's on my website, stephenmasulo.com. I hope you have a wonderful month of September. Very exciting times we're in. Things are really changing in whole new ways. Very exciting. And we can help each other out by radically healing all the bits inside ourselves so then we can embody this action of love to help further inspire the rest of us to grow and do the same. So much love. Thank you. Mwah.